every dollar in our life has to have a plan and has to have a purpose, because there's an energy to money. And when money isn't valued, then it's just going to go to someone who's got the ecosystem, and you're going to have this experience called evaporating money in your life. So we've got to have a plan. Don't have a plan, it's just going to evaporate and you're just stuck on the treadmill.
Welcome to the Bucket List Life Podcast with Trav Bell, the world's #1 bucket list expert. Bucket List Life's mission is to help you get off the treadmill, stop Groundhog Days, hack your habits, and live a regret-free life. Because we know life's way too short not to live your bucket list life. So please welcome your host, Trav Bell, the Bucket List Guy.
Hey, bucket listers, welcome to another episode of the Bucket List Life podcast. This is going to be epic. This is not just going to be about bucket lists. Yes, we're going to start there, but we're going to then reverse engineer and talk about how to fund your bucket list with the man, Todd Polke. How are you, brother?
Good, Trav. How you doing, man?
I'm excellent. So tell me, when you're coming in, you've traveled all around the world and done some weird and wonderful things on your bucket list. When you go into a country, you've got an incoming passenger card and you've got to put your occupation on it. What do you put as your occupation?
Great question. Look, I'm a teacher at heart. That's what I am. I teach people money. So like at the very base of everything I do, I educate investors how to grow portfolios, create financial freedom. So more than anything, I'm a financial freedom educator.
Well, there's only about this much. If you're looking at the video, guys, on YouTube here, there's only about this much room that you can actually say that in. So I reckon you'll be battling. Definitely, the Homeland Security is definitely pulling you up on that one. So financial educator, I love that. And to be a financial educator in different countries, I'm sure it's different. But what gives someone, because there's so many dodgy crew out there, right? Like you know, we just talked offline about all that. And how does someone that you know, like if people are out there listening, watching this, how do they know whether this person or advisor is legit or not, or is not full of shit? You know, and I know that you aren't. We go way back. So if you haven't got anyone, guys, Todd's your guy. If we're going to sort of interview people out there right now, because we're in a place where we've got to invest and et cetera, how do we know? How can we test them?
Yeah, so let's start off by saying qualifications do not mean qualified to help you grow your wealth. Right?
Yes, exactly.
So we've all had financial planners or accountants or those people along the way who are the so-called professionals, and we're told we should just, go and see these guys. But I've got to tell you straight off the bat, a lot of them don't know shit about investing and don't even invest themselves and don't have personal portfolios. Now, years ago, I had to become a qualified financial advisor when I was teaching people how to, background's property, but I've traded shares and cryptos and business investment, a whole lot of stuff, right? But I had to become a qualified financial advisor. Trav, I want to ask you, how long do you think it took me to become a qualified financial advisor? How long do you think it took me?
I'm going to say 3 years.
Two weekends via distance education.
Fuck off, really?
No, seriously,
to manage other people's money.
I'm fucking serious, right? So I had distance education with an open book exam. So cop this. I had an open book exam. I copied the answers directly from here and pasted them over here. 2 weekends later, I was qualified to be a financial advisor.
You're kidding?
No, I'm not. Now,
is scary.
Let me caveat this. It's gotten better since, but it's still not very good. I have a lot of my personal private clients who are accountants and financial advisors and all these mortgage brokers and real estate agents. And I can tell you right now, they don't know shit about investing in general. And I didn't learn anything about investing during this course. I learned how to fill out paperwork. And the same way I became a real estate agent and a mortgage broker, became a mortgage broker in 3 hours via distance via RPL, became a real estate agent. Didn't learn anything about investing, just learned how to fill out contracts. So to me, there is zero donut weighting on someone having a qualification. I couldn't care less. To me, it's all about results and it's all about experience. So one of the first things, if I'm ever looking for someone on my team, I will just go tell me what you've done in your life. Tell me who else you've helped and tell me the results they've gotten. And that's where I start, and that's about it, right? And so I start there. Then I want to understand value systems, because if someone doesn't resonate on a similar plane of values, and we're not looking at the world in a certain similar way, because I'm a big believer in values-based investing. I'm never going to invest in anything that's against my values. So it's results, experience, and then value systems, and can we actually get along? Like, those are the first things I always think about.
That's so important, mate. And I'm frightened by that. So most of the financial planners, and I'll put it in quotes because it's kind of bullshit, as you've just said. So a lot of them more traditionally were designed to get them out there, get them, working with banks straight away and get them to flog the bank's products. Yeah.
Yeah. They're glorified salespeople, right?
Yeah.
And the level of financial advice you get, and this superannuation drives me crazy. Don't get me started on that. I'll start ranting on that. But like, when it comes time to, for most people, when they're doing statements of advice with financial advisors, are you a conservative investor? Are you a balanced investor? Or are you a growth investor? Well, great. Let's shove you in one of our funds that we already have pre-set up to be able to do that. And that's here's $7,000 for the experience. Now, of course, there are some incredible financial advisors out there, same as incredible speakers, incredible nurses, incredible personal trainers, incredible this. But then there's this whole other world of dog shit ones, which are just there because it's a job and that's about it. And so, weaving your way through that mess is a challenge. But unfortunately, I just find so many people, the horror stories they tell me and how they've been let down is literally just crazy and insane when it comes to the world of financial advising. That's for sure. And, like, when people are just selling a certain product because that's what their licensee said that they should sell, I can't see the integrity in that, mate. I just can't.
No, 100%. I really like that. And thanks for the stern warning. I love. So let's pivot. What's been because I know you're a big bucket lister yourself and with your family and with, the legacy that you're creating with your life. It's not just about the money. It's about what you do with it. You've probably heard me say this before, but, I say a bucket list is a tangible life plan where our career plan or our business plan should fit into our life plan and not be the other way around. It really brings home that work to live principle or invest to live principle. What's been your bucket list journey so far, mate?
Yeah, great question. So, I started off in the same journey as everybody else, like with the whole theme of life. Well, the harder I work, the more successful I'll become, right? And so I went down that journey. I went down it hard, being pretty driven as a young fella, as a personal trainer. I would work 17 hours a day, 6 days a week, 50 weeks of the year because I thought,
you're a personal trainer too.
Yeah, way back when, mate. When I was 17, I went into the army, became a personal trainer, and spent a few years running personal training businesses and boot camps and all that type of stuff. Making people do 1,000 push-ups and purging and having a great time.
That was my first 20 years. I started personal training in the mid 90s.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. No, so I was backstory, guys. You may or may not know, heard me say this before, but no, I had one of the biggest personal training companies in Australia. First to franchise personal training studios in Australia. We had a chain of them in Queensland. We had some in Queensland, New South Wales, and Victoria before. And I was the key presenter for the Australian Institute of Fitness when they started in Victoria, and on the board of Fitness Australia and all that sort of shit. Helped write the code of ethics for personal trainers in Australia.
There you go.
And, but this is when back in the day when no one really knew what personal training actually was, because we're just sort of coming out of that 80s, 90s gym industry vibe and then into personal training and, help popular. That was my whole thing. And so when I met our mutual friends, Jeff and Kane, then I was coming out of personal training, transitioning. Had to go through some depression, mental health stuff first. It came out the other side going, what do I do now? And then someone called me the bucket list guy and I defranchised the whole thing.
Wow.
Went online and I've been online ever since.
Yeah,
so there you go.
There we are. Well, mate, you know how it is then. It's like I was just working my ass off and burnt myself out and broke myself by about the age of 20, 21. Like broke my body, broke my health, broke my relationships, just broke everything. And
you had a lot of cash.
Well, I didn't, mate. I thought I was supposed to have a lot of cash, but then I was still a broke personal trainer. And so I got to the point of sitting there going, shit, I thought life was about so much more. And like this whole work to pay the bills thing, I realized we've been lied to. I just realized it's a lie. It's a program that we're told to become functioning cogs in economic wheel of society. And good boys and girls do what they're told and pay their taxes. And they'll be so busy, distracted, and exhausted so that we can be controlled. But anyway, that's another conversation. But like, for me, it's always about, like, we live in such an extraordinary world, right? And like having the ability to be able to fully explore that and be that and be in that is really what my world is about. My earliest memories was, I grew up in the Solomon Islands. I was born in the Solomon Islands. And my earliest memories is watching my parents walk off the beach to go diving in World War II wrecks. And so by 12, I got my scuba diver's license. I fell into the world of diving, and I've experienced the most beautiful places in the world, but I've also experienced diving and seeing plastic bags run past me and, saving sharks off the bottom of the ocean that are wrapped up in rubbish and horrible things. I've done some trekking in Africa with my dad and seeing the poachers, how they ripped out these big bull elephants' tusks. And so, being able to experience the world and go and see all the beauty and go and see all the horror, and it's really shaped a lot of who I am now. And
because you grew up as an army kid?
My parents weren't army, no, but I fell into the army.
Okay.
It sounded good at the time. Let's, young guy, a lot of ego. Let's jump into the SAS and try and go shoot some guns and go fight some wars and, stuff that we try and go and do. And, mate, as I've gotten on, as I start thinking about life and the beauty of life, it's being able to fully experience a life unlimited by how much money you earn. It's about having to live and lead your legacy so that you leave the world in a better place than when you found it. And it's about family to me. And so when I sit there and I go, well, how can I earmark my life? Let's experience everything we possibly can and go traveling and go diving and go hiking and go do all this beautiful stuff. It's how can I raise an incredible family? This is why I bought this rainforest here. It's a legacy thing for me, for my family and my kids, and grow our own food and all that type of stuff. And then cool. It's about having impact on the planet and leave the world in a better place.
So I'm going to ask you, and this is going to be like a tough one, but you might just bang it out. Top 3 bucket list adventures that you've had.
Yeah. Trekking in Chisareera National Park with my dad and my 2 brothers with just a guide and a camp boy. Camping out on cliffs, hearing lions and hyenas and that type of stuff in the background, like just near the tent. Like, never forget it. One of the most beautiful, extraordinary experiences of my life. Next would be playing judo. My background is judo, and my sporting background is judo. Been doing that since the age of 5. Traveling around Japan playing judo and going to visit some incredible monasteries and some temples and some things like that. I would then say, I'm going to add 2 more, mate. One is the stuff I did in, going into the jungles over in Peru and things like that. And then it's the scuba diving adventures. Mate, I've got a lot, but like those stuff, scuba diving, the barrier reef and some diving with whales and stuff like that shit lights me up.
Yeah, unreal. So that's going back to your point that you made. We all want to live a life, an unlimited life. But what limits us is the 2 resources that our jobs or our businesses are meant to produce, right? And that is cash flow and time flow.
Right. Spot on.
So how do we live a life unlimited by, let's just dig into the money side of things. How do we live an unlimited life? Because income is obviously the limit. There's 2 types of income. You might want to address this. There's active and passive. Active is where we've got to trade time for money. And for most people, we've got to go to a bricks and mortar place to do that. Online, love online money. That's great. But that ain't the facts for a lot of people. Or investment money, right? So look, talk to that.
Yeah, for sure. To me, the journey always starts like you've got to, like we've been programmed our entire lives to do life in a certain way. And this, you talk to your crew around this, like you know how it is. We've been programmed and conditioned to live life in a certain way. And it's this suppressed version of life. And, we're taught that money is not important, all that type of stuff, but try living without it, right? And one of the first things that we've got to focus on doing is break away from some old patternings. We've got to realize that the old rules we've been playing the game of life are broken. They're fucked. They don't work. We need to go and recreate a brand new set of rules. And it's the psychology switch that needs to be made there is really fundamental to everything. And it doesn't just fix it with money. It's health, it's relationships, it's literally all of the above, right? And so when I start thinking about breaking the rules associated to what we've been taught, we also have to start learning in the language of money. We have to start understanding that money is not about like building wealth and creating financial freedom isn't about the money. It's about the choice, because that's all money is. We were taught that money is an exchange of time, but that's just the type of value that we choose to give up. What money really fundamentally is a unit of choice, right? That's what it is. And when you talk about passive versus active, we're taught that earning income is an exchange of time, right? That's what we're taught. But that's an industrial age complex type of conversation where what we should really be talking about is that money is an exchange of value. Time is just one of the types of value that we can give up in exchange for money. But we can start focusing on, well, how can we go and add value to the marketplace at a greater level than ever before and learn how to monetize that? We have the ability to be able to skyrocket our income beyond anything. But that's not enough. We then have to learn how to get our money out there working hard for us. And that's when you talk about passive income streams. I don't really like the word passive, like, because, you know, you still have to take responsibility. Passive feels you leave aside responsibility, right? But when I sit there and go, like, it's leveraged income is what I like to think of it as, right? Because all of a sudden we make the move from being directly involved to zooming out to being the chess master of our wealth creation game and what we do.
But also, like, there's one making the money, and then there's one job, and then the other job, in quotations, is managing the money, right? And I love Grant Cardone. I'm sure he's got it, it's from somewhere else, but he said, like, every your money's gonna make babies. I've never forgotten that. Your money's gonna make babies. No use sitting in a bank, because your money's gonna make babies.
Right. Lazy money, one of my pet hates, mate. But like, when we think about education around money, we've got to learn how to earn our money. We've got to learn how to grow what we earn. We've got to learn how to keep what we grow. Because I've also had the experience of making a shitload of money, but not having the system in place to keep it, and then losing it all and having to start all over again. And that's not a fun experience either. So sustainable wealth that we can then rely upon, a consistent and sustainable income stream that can fund the lifestyle you desire. That's what the end goal is. It's not about let's buy 5 properties, let's do this. That's just, who cares? Who gives a shit, right? What I care about is, how is that portfolio going to deliver consistent, sustainable income stream that you can rely upon to fund the lifestyle you desire, and then go and live an extraordinary quality of life and live out your bucket list and leave your legacy.
So this is interesting because, the old adage, you can only survive on cash flow, not capital. There's a lot of people that want to be a millionaire and that sort of thing. There's a lot of asset-rich, cash-poor people, right?
You got it.
So investing strategies, and speak to this as well, we're sold, we're talking about breaking old patterns, and I guess the institution of investing, making money, is, don't even get me started on this concept of retirement, right? Because we're sold this fucking idea of retirement, that we're going to have these happy golden years later on, but most people don't even see those fucking years. And it's too little too late. We live in a delayed gratification society. I'll be happy when syndrome, waiting for the perfect day or someday to come, perfect time or someday. And sometimes that never, the thing that makes me most saddest is people have worked their guts off, exited their businesses, or retired from the job that they fucking hated, and then had 5 good years and then bang, heart attack. It's like, oh my God.
Right.
So I want, and you do too, you want people to be happier now, right? Sure, we got delayed gratification. That's all well and good, but we want instant gratification because our fucking mental health is through the roof, and that's just a perfect storm right now. We want people to be happier now and feel satisfied now and have adventures now, right?
Yeah. Look, I think I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think retirement is a very low standard to be aiming for in life. And adding to what you said, people going like falling off the perch after 5 years of retirement. But if you also look at most people, 77% of the population rely upon some form of the pension in retirement. Just 77% rely upon some form of the pension in retirement. Most people are like drastically under financed to live out their glory years, so to speak, and go, one day when I'll go and then live the good life. Most people are living almost in poverty, unfortunately. And so the superannuation system is broken. It is bullshit. I've got a lot to say about that. I think it's absolute and utter nonsense.
It's 401k for an American audience.
Or our American audience. Yeah, exactly right. But, when we start thinking about that, the whole adage of wealth creation is get your money working harder for you so you can stop working hard for your money, right? And what we need to do is that we've got a system of there's a system for health, there's a system for running a successful business, there's a system for, is succeeding in your job. There's a system for relationship, and the same for wealth. Like there's a system for wealth. How can we start even, and you're right about business owners. I mean, so many business owners who work their guts off think they're going to sell their business for some magical exit. Most never get there at all. And then they're putting everything into their business and having nothing to show for it in their personal life. Like, our personal life is a business. Our business is a business. Our wealth creation is a business. And as soon as we stop treating our wealth creation like a hobby, we're going to stop getting hobby-like results, right? We got to treat it like a business and run a system that can generate a predictable income stream, because there's not luck. The wealthy and successful investors and the wealthy don't get there by luck. They get there because they have a different system than everybody else.
When you say system, you mean habits, rituals, routines. What do you mean by system?
Right, great question. So when I think about a system, there's 3 key areas that I talk about, right? It's strategy, structure, system. That's what I think about. If we draw a triangle, right? We've got strategy in the bottom, because if you don't have a plan, if you don't have a strategy, then you're wandering around in the dark and you're hoping for the best. You're just gambling, straight out gambling, and investors don't gamble. So we got to set our plan and set our strategy first. And the part of that is that every dollar in our life has to have a plan and has to have a purpose, because there's an energy to money. And when money isn't valued, if you don't create the ecosystem for your money to have more babies, like what you're talking about, then it's just going to go to someone who's got the ecosystem. And it's just you're going to have this experience called evaporating money in your life. So we've got to have a plan. Don't have a plan, it's just going to evaporate and you're just stuck on the treadmill. You then got to set the structure up, right? And so when I talk about structure, this is all about like getting yourself market ready, because the great deals aren't going to hang around and wait for you to sort your shit out. The best deals are always done off market, pure and simple. You've got to make sure you apply the principles of leverage and the 6 levers of leverage, because otherwise you become the bottleneck to your own success, right? And then you've got to set up your structures. And when we talk about structures, this is not just trusts, not just companies. It's onshore, offshore structures. It's private versus public structures. It's you're having your buffers in place. It's building this deep and strong foundation that you can put 2 feet firmly on and stand above the financial waterline, so you can see something further than just the next bill you got to pay, right? And then finally, it's the system. And the system is, how do we find the off-market deals that make more profit and more cash flow? Because all the strategy in the world doesn't mean squat unless you find the deals that make the difference. Then how do you get your money actually out there making more money for you, so that you actually create a system where your money is making more babies?
Compounding, yeah.
Right. But underneath all this is the psychology. And that's where you sit there and go, and when I talk about the foundational elements, it's raising your financial IQ, raising your investment IQ, turning on what I call your millionaire mode. It's making sure you've got the right people around you, the right peer group around you to support you rather than pull you down, and building a team around you at the same time. And if we can build that deep, strong foundation, it just becomes that pillar, that basis that we can step on and see further than we've ever seen before.
Yeah, that's unreal. Hey, look, you talk about the 4 freedoms investors should aim for. What are they?
Right. So financial freedom isn't like you're talking about the one-day win journey. Financial freedom isn't this one-day win. It's not this magical destination. It's something we systematically take back one freedom at a time, right? The first freedom that we got to take back is all about emotional freedom, right? And we've been talking about programming a lot already in this conversation, but how can we clear the lens so that we're actually seeing the world how it is, not filtered through a set of belief systems that we've inherited from somebody else about how life is, how money is, how wealth is, what wealthy people are, and all that type of stuff. So if we can clear the lenses so we can actually see the world as it is, then when we receive information and stimulus, where we then filter and process it through a clean mirror as opposed to something else, which then dictates the actions that we wind up taking. So we take back emotional freedom, right? Once we've got that and we're operating from a clean space, what we then have to do, the next freedom is location freedom. And what location freedom is all about autonomy. And so when I talk about autonomy, like this whole thing of turn up to work and exchange time for money and be 8 hours for 40 hours a week in one location, mate, it restricts everything, right? But as soon as we can take back autonomy over our location, all of a sudden we take back the same autonomy over our time. So we get to then choose when we work and not work. And we have the ability to be able to more fully experience life, not just being stuck in a location because that's where we are.
That's speaking to me right now. That's exactly where I'm at right now is, why be here where I am?
Right. And that freedom is such a valuable freedom. Like it's so valuable, right?
It's scary. It's when you're in a position to be able to actually do it, it's scary and exciting at the same because you're battling against old school, new school thinking.
Oh, true. Yeah. You got two conversations going in your head. It's everything I thought I knew life was going to be about, and then everything I want in life. And then these conversations are going on and going, well, I like this and I don't like this. And it's just, you can get these big bloody clashes kind of happening, right? And, we've got to decide which one's going to win. And
We've got emotional freedom. We've got location freedom. What are the other two?
time freedom. So time freedom is when decoupling your income from the amount of time you put in.
Love that.
Okay. So we want to make that decoupling process. And this is where you were talking about active, passive income streams. I call them effort versus asset income streams, right? So our effort income streams is where we're going to put in some effort to do some stuff to earn some income. And asset-based income streams is when the asset's earning the income for us. So similar type of thing. So we decouple time. And then finally is financial freedom. And financial freedom ultimately is all about your assets are out earning your income, right? That you have full flexibility and autonomy over everything in life. You no longer have to turn up to work in any way, shape, or form to fund lifestyle. And there's 4 levels of financial freedom, right? So needs, wants, dreams, legacy, right? And so we handle
needs, wants, dreams, legacy.
So a needs is just handling the basic living expenses, not
Maslow's.
Ferraris, not Lambos.
Maslow's.
Right, spot on. Basic needs. Get that, gives you back your time. Step number 1. Wants, add some more choices into the matter, right? Like, what are some other choices you want to be able to have in your life, right? Certain amount of travel, certain amount of this, whatever it is, right? How much is that going to cost? Then there's a formula to figure that out, right? Dreams, live your dream lifestyle where you think like a kid again and nothing's too hard, right? Everything is possible for you. And then legacy, what's the impact you want to have in the world? What's the intergenerational wealth you want to leave for your family? What's the contribution you want to be able to have? And what's the wisdom you want to leave behind because you've had a life well lived?
Very, very, very cool. This is just speaking to me so much. And that's the thing, like talking about like building wealth that aligns with your life's purpose, your life's meaning, right? And that's getting that congruency just fires you up so much more, doesn't it? Like if you've got, like these are all, this is the legacy play. This is what I want to leave behind with my kids. This is all the travel. Let's just say this is my bucket list life that I want to fund.
Yeah.
You aligning your wealth goals with that, your returns based on that, I think is so important. That's the stuff that fires me. Money for money's sake is, all good. But what it can do with it, what that can do, how I can leverage it. Speak to that, aligning your money goals, your financial goals with your life's meaning.
Yeah, money with meaning is what I talk about. So we're talking the same language. What you said before around that, you don't fit your life around your job or you don't fit your life around your location or whatever it is.
Business plan.
Right. So everything starts with that, the bucket list life, right? Like that's your North Star. You put that baby right up there in the sky and every decision that you make is this leading me closer towards living this bucket list life?
And that's so different. Sorry to interrupt, but that's so different for every single person. What you and I, we want to do extreme shit. We should be sponsored by maybe Red Bull on our journey.
Well, let's work on that, mate. I think that's a good plan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next bucket list, Trav, you and me, Red Bull sponsorship.
Yeah. Red Bull. Yeah.
Are you listening right now?
Call me. But, for other people, it's not that. It could be one holiday a year. It could be one, they want to be based wherever they're based. Cool. No judgment, no comparison. You don't have to go and fly private everywhere. You don't have to go and do the crazy adventures and that sort of thing. And that's on a lot of people's bucket list, not bucket list. And so don't get caught up in comparisonitis. And I'll be the first to say this from stage, from, coaching and stuff. Don't compare mine to yours. It's a weird pissing contest. Don't compare yours to someone else. Just do you. What is and that's the whole purpose of this podcast, mate, is what is your version of your bucket list life? What have we got to do to live that? But be around inspirational people who are doing life differently, so you get some inspiration to push your envelope on yours, right? You're spot on. I just wanted to interrupt there. Sorry, mate, but aligning your investment goals, short-term, long-term, speak to that as well about aligning with that life's purpose.
Yeah, spot on. Like, as I was saying, when you set that North Star in the sky, it just gives you the ability to be able to make effective decisions because like life is just a series of decisions that we have the opportunity to make. And the better that we are at making decisions, the better that we're going to be able to kind of duck and weave our way towards what that ultimate outcome is. And you know, everyone's bucket list and the ultimate dream life is different, and it's going to change potentially as well. And so you've got to be fluid and flexible to a certain extent. But like becoming a successful investor is just becoming a better financial decision maker. That's what it all is. And so when you have a framework to be able to make effective decisions with, that are aligned with this outcome, and then also based on where you are right now, like I sit there and go with it. When I sit down with any investor and I look at their situation, right, and I unpack what's going on, here's some things I'm thinking about. Like I'm thinking about where we're going, like needs, wants, dreams, legacy. Like how much is that going to cost? What kind of portfolio do we need to build? Got our North Star. Then we come back to where we are right now and we sit there and go, what's working? What's not working, right? Where's that greatest opportunity that we're not tapping into right now? That if we were to go press on that lever, it's going to be the domino that's going to knock over a whole other set of dominoes. And where's our biggest bottleneck right now that if we don't handle that, it's going to be the very thing which is going to hold us back in life. And so then we can come back to where we are. And this is true for wealth. It's true for anything else. Like you sit there and go, like in your life right now, where's the biggest bottleneck? And for some people, it's location. Like, shit, if I could just free myself from this location, if I could free myself from this experience or that experience, it's going to then open up this gateway that you have the opportunity to be able to step through energetically and physically and all those type of things, which has the ability to rapidly accelerate your journey moving forward. So to me, when you can clear on your outcome and also get clear on your values, right? Like, how are you going to show up in this thing called life, right? And then we can align all of our actions and our decisions. Are they taking us closer towards us or taking us away? Then we have the opportunity to live a really aligned life.
Yeah, I love that. Like, and when we make money, we hang on to it. We fucking strangle it, right? And look, and maybe, yeah, I'm speaking from experience.
Some people do.
One of my bottlenecks, I hang on too tight.
Got it.
And I'm like, you know, look, I worked my guts out, you know, building business, and I've made some. All right, fuck, I struggle to let it go. And where do I fucking put it so it works best for me? I don't really care where it goes.
Yeah,
because I don't need to have 1 million houses and have all the 100 doors, and you know, like that's a bit of an ego thing, to be honest. I just want cash flow, so then I can run around the world and be free. So. Speak to that, hanging on to it. Just speak to me about hanging on to it.
I'll talk to you, mate. Because what you said there, that's your experience, right? And there's five, I call it the 5 teams of money, right? There's the hoarders. And the hoarders are like, I get money and they hang on to it really tightly, right?
Like a little puppy.
Like a little puppy. And you're potentially good at saving, but your money's not growing and working for you at the level it needs to be, right? And there's a lot of fear involved in that. And we have to unpack, where's that fear coming from and why is that actually showing up in my life associated to this, right? So the hoarders are one, the gamblers are another. The gamblers are always going for the get-rich-quick plays, right? Like the full field goals you're trying to go for and the trick plays. And that type of
I've been to Vegas for 5 times. I've never gambled. I've gambled with my life, but not gambled with money.
Right. And so that's a fascinating insight into your world and how you think about that, right? There's the clueless, and the team clueless are kind of vaguely aware that there's something going on. They don't really know, and they're just kind of following what everybody else does. You've then got the peacocks. So they're more focused on looking rich as opposed to being rich. They buy all the shit that they don't need to impress people they don't really care about. And then finally, you've got the investors. So that's the 5 fields, okay?
I now know where I need to be. Yeah. So let's just go through those again. Let's map it out just for the watchers and listeners. This is gold. So we've got, what'd you say, the first one?
The hoarders.
Hoarders.
Yep. So they grab all their money, they hold onto it super bloody tightly and is very fear-driven.
Yep.
You got the gamblers.
Okay.
They've spent their entire lives getting themselves into a certain situation, but then expected to change overnight. They're looking for the silver bullet. They go for the get-rich-quick shit. And, you know, when something doesn't work, they go look for the next silver bullet to solve their initial their problem they just created and the previous ones that they've had, right?
Rolls.
You've got the clueless. So they're kind of like just wandering around, but their heads are kind of in the sand and they just like, there's maybe a game, maybe it's not. They just follow along with everybody else, right?
Peacocks.
The peacocks are number 4. So they're more focused on looking rich than being rich. From the outside looking in.
Know quite a few of them. Yep.
Yeah, we know. Everyone knows some of those. they got the nice car and they go on the nice holidays. Yeah, but if you lift up the hood around what's going on, it's a fucking disaster, right? Disaster. And then finally we got the investors. The investors learn the language of money and then they apply consistently over time. Wealth creation it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, right? And anyone that starts down the pathway of going, I want to build wealth, create financial freedom with get rich quick is short-term decision-making. Short-term decision-making sacrifices long-term outcomes. And that psychology of one foot in front of the other, do one thing, implement one thing, learn one thing, do one thing, is everything when it comes to this world. It's just wealth is a habit. That's pure and simple. The most beautiful thing about knowing that is that everybody can do it, right? It's not rocket science. It's just what habits do I need to let go of and what do I need to start employing that is going to start making some fundamental differences in my world?
What are the top habits that you see that move the needle kind of like the most? Are the big dominoes that people go, fucking hell, why wasn't I doing that all along? When they could have.
Yeah. Mate, I tell you what, I've got 15 key habits, right? So we could be here forever, mate. But
we'll do round two.
We'll do round two, right?
Yeah.
But one of the biggest, I'm just going to talk about the most. This one habit has changed more financial lives than I've seen anything else do, right? And this one habit is very simple. Anyone could do it. It's just called a money night. And what it simply is 1 hour once a week dedicated to taking care of your finances. And it's so simple. It's so easy. But most people, the only time they get to their finances when there's a bill to pay, when it's tax time, when there's emergency, and when it's too late. And they're left wondering why they're not getting the financial results that we want. But if we spend 1 hour once a week, where all we do is we review our life goals, because bucket list goals, because we want to align ourselves with our thinking on a consistent basis, right? And align our decision-making process, much of what we're speaking about. We review our life goals and our financial goals. Quick read, 5 minutes, right? We review our investments so we can get clear. And even if your investment is, hey, I own $5 of crypto or I own $10, it doesn't matter, whatever it is, right? We then review the previous week's finance to make sure that everything that was supposed to happen happened. We then look ahead and go, what's coming up this week? What bills are we going to pay? What investments are going to make? And investing doesn't have to be big. It could be $5. I don't care. People think about investing.
Not the amount, is it? It's really not the amount. It's the habit.
100% right. And because we want to normalize wealth creation, right? Normal is working to pay bills. Instead, we want to normalize financial freedom, wealth creation, bucket list life. That's what we have to create as normal. So we look ahead and go, what's coming? And then we go, what do I need to plan for? Set it up using technology and tools and things like that to automate it so you can then forget about it. And then, mate, at that point in time, as you're in flow with this, you'll have 10, 15 minutes left. Go learn one thing about money, just one thing new. Read one article, read 5 pages of a book, listen to a 10-minute podcast, whatever it is. So you're constantly growing your financial investment IQ. That one habit right there will shift financial trajectories forever.
I remember mentor and ex-business partner, Brad Sugars, who you may know from Action Coach.
Yeah, Action Coach, yeah.
Yeah. So he always questioned, always said from day dot, what day is investment day for you?
Right.
What do you mean by that? I mean, you talked about the hour. He sort of talked about the day. And he's like, when's your investment day? And he just stumbled, everyone would stumble around that question. Like, what do you mean? It's like, well, when are you, you're making the money, but when are you looking at it, and how are you growing it, and how are you learning? And exactly the same philosophy, mate. It's about re-educating and getting on the front foot. I love that. That's a perfect way for people that are out there busting their gut and they literally don't have a reoccurring hour called money hour, investment hour, bucket list life hour, whatever. I think that is gold advice. Mate, I'm a 50-year-old guy, or 51 old.
We'll keep 50, mate. It's fine. We'll
yeah.
I'm still 40. I turned 41 a couple of months ago, but I'm still 40. I'll keep it 40 for now.
Well, okay. Well, no, I'm 10 years ahead of you. So let's say I've got 250, retirement age. I hate that, I can't see that ever happening. But let's say I've got 250 to invest. I don't know. What's a normal kind of investor? Like, people come to you and they go, I've got X number to invest. What's the kind of the normal number that people have in your world?
There's no normal. And the simple reason is I have a fundamental belief, which I know is absolutely true, is that no matter what situation you're starting in, there's a next step for you, right? People who have nothing and are just getting started, there's a pathway for you. But people that work with me on a private level, they'll generally start with $500,000 to $1 million to begin with, right? But people that want to learn the system and get started, there is no matter. I do not care how much money people have, because you can get started investing with $5. And that's a great start.
Let's scale it right back to complete starter. And we've got some young crew that, look, I've got two nearly 18-year-old, twin boys. And they've got a little bit of money in the account. They're going to uni. That's a debate. Okay, let's say you got 5K. Let's say you got 10K. What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, here's the way I think about it, right? When I look at, again, bigger conversation, but there's 3 strategies that every investor needs to have in a portfolio ultimately. You've got to have what I call buy and gold, paycheck, momentum. Each of those strategies have to serve a different purpose. Buy and gold is about asset growth in the value of the asset, because that's where your true wealth is going to be created, right? Paycheck is all about cash flow. So primary purpose of buy and gold is capital growth. Primary purpose of paycheck is cash flow. Most people, the only place they get that from is their job, right? We got to diversify that. 3 income streams is the starting point where we start to create some stability, right, of income. 1 income stream is risky, 2 is okay, 3 is stable, 4 over and above is abundance, right? Then we've got momentum, and momentum is all about turning over profit chunks. So that's a 3 strategy framework. Now, if we're starting out, and so the answer to what you're asking is going to be different depending if we're 10K or 250K, right? And depending on stage of life and a whole lot of different things. Your boy is starting out with kind of 10K in the bank account right now. I like to talk about this investment trifecta, right? And what I'd be saying is, we might take 6K of that 10K, right? Maybe 6 to 8K of the 10K, right? And there's a reason I'm leaving a bit of money aside, right? So this is based on, we have a bit of a buffer in place. They're your boys. They're going to be okay anyway. So, but an average person kind of starting out, if they've got 10K and they've got a kid to look after or something like that, a grand buffer. Step number 1, just put that aside. Do not touch it. There's the energy when you have a little bit of money in the bank account, which frees up your level of thinking to be able to go and do more, be more, create more. The investment trifecta is, how can we put a little bit of a piece in each of those buckets? And I look at some metals. So as a buy and gold. So some bit of gold, bit of silver, right? I look at a bit of crypto, as a momentum play, right? Because the crypto will probably be the fastest growing asset class in the next period of time. And there's a whole lot of stuff about central bank digital currencies coming. I think it's important to have a play in crypto.
And then Trump comes in and Doge comes in and off we go.
And off we go. And we've just seen this, right? And then the third is that when you're just starting out, we're not ready to buy some property, but you might put some in, like in some equities or something like that. So you're leveraged against like, an S&P 500, or, in US or ASX 200 or something like that, to earn some dividends from, to be able to do that. Now, so you might go like 1.5, 1.5, 1.5 as an example, right? So you've got a bit of a base across 3 different types of strategies, and you're starting the foundation of your system. Now, what we would then do is start a dollar cost averaging process, right? Because I want to create the habit of wealth. Sometimes the most important thing is not just putting it all to work right now. More important than anything is let's build the habit of wealth. And so then we start actually dollar cost averaging process. So consistently every week on your money night, you're investing a small amount of money. If it's $5, $5, $10, $10, $100, $100, whatever it is. Now, my caveat to this is, so to speak, is depending on your stage of life, some of your biggest leverage point is growing your earning ability. So then what's your growth fund? What's the amount of money you have set aside that you're going to apply to grow yourself? Because you'll never out-earn yourself, right? And so if we can then go and apply to increase our value to the marketplace to grow our earning ability, is one of your greatest leverage points you want to be focusing on. So depending on stage of life, depending on what you're doing, that's where I'd be kind of allocating that capital.
Cool. Very cool. Wow, that's got me thinking. Shit. All right, so I'm 50 and I got 250. Same rules apply?
No. So, I mean, and you're establishing what you do and you've established an income stream. So it's different. So we're going to go, we've handled a certain element, right? And so I need to understand that there's a lot of other stuff, right? So, but we handle a certain element. We need to have a buffer in place. And so your buffer is going to be, it's your sleep at night factor. And it's how many months of cover or living expenses do you need so that you and your family are safe.
You want kind of 6 months up your sleeve too?
6 months up my sleeve is what I always think about.
That's it. Shit hits the fan. So FYI people, if we speak about that all the time, right? You want to have, if shit hits the fan with your job or whatever, or your business, or you get injured, and you want to have 6 months, 6 months up your sleeve of living expenses, right?
Exactly. Yeah, shit happens buffer. And it just sits there. Like, it's just there to have something goes wrong, that you and your family are fine. Right?
There's a bit of Dave Ramsey stuff there, or what he's made it famous.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't read much of Dave Ramsey stuff, to be honest, but he's an OG in this type of stuff. Like, he's certainly, I think Dave Ramsey's great, but and I see a few people like this, they teach people how to not go broke as opposed to how to build wealth. And that's two very different pathways, right? And so I agree with some of his philosophies around money management, but then wealth creation is a different ball game altogether. And so we need to have both in play, right?
Yeah.
And so then I'd be sitting there thinking about, for you, like, okay, well, again, this is going to depend on lifestyle choices where you want to go. Like, we go, okay, can we put a pillar down in the portfolio? Like, do we get a good quality piece of real estate that we plan a hard pillar down in the portfolio that we then start growing the rest down around? Because income streams are great, but there's two types of income streams. There's asset-based income streams and tactic-based income streams. Asset-based income streams where we own the golden goose that lays the golden egg. Like a property. We get the property, we ultimately own outright, gives us rent. Tactic-based income streams is where we might go and act as a lender, and we might lend some capital to a property developer or business or something like that, earn a 15 to 20% return, but there's a start and a finish time. And you can't create financial freedom on that. It's too random, right?
Yeah.
It's a tool, but we've got to convert our cash flow into asset-based income streams. So we might go, depending on servicing, depending on a whole lot of numbers I don't know, Trav, but like we might go let's plan a solid pillar down in the portfolio. I would then be sitting there going, how can we build out the rest of the system? I'd want to go put another income stream in place, depending on how many you've got going from now and online and a whole lot of stuff. But if it was clean, there was no other like side businesses, side hustles, I'll be going, let's put an income stream in place, which might be some lending strategies or some loan notes. I mean, many different ways we can do this. Birthing center cash flow plays. There's like we're doing a hotel deal in Sunshine Coast off to the beach where we're getting a 25% return. Really cool shit.
Talk to me about that. Talk to me about that, mate.
I've got some good shit going on, man. This is great.
So, and that's the thing. A lot of people don't understand this. Is like you can raise money and go buy assets and be the person running a fund, or you hook up with people like you, other people who put these funds together or are part of a fund, and you can actually invest in that fund and get great returns. What sort of returns are we, would be a good return?
Oh, mate, look,
anything above what?
10%.
Okay.
So I sit there and go above 10%, and now we're in the game, right? But we're taught we should just accept like 5% money sitting in the bank. That's shit. If you've had earning 5%, you're going backwards because inflation has been higher than that. So when I sit there and I look at a deal in general, if we're talking about a cash flow return, I'm 10% plus is what I'm thinking about.
So I put 100 grand into something. I should expect 10 grand to be, to spit out of that investment each year.
Easy, mate.
And I've got then the choice of taking it off the table,
right,
for living expenses, or reinvesting it in that same fund or something else. So it then compounds into more money, more asset value.
Right. We compound our capital to grow our capital base, to continue growing this kind of wealth farm that we're generating, that we're working on, till it gets to a point where it's self-sustaining and then sustains your life as the next phase.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Mate, I love it. How do we future-proof our wealth so, other generations don't fuck it up? Shit, dude.
Oh, yeah. We could be here a long time.
Trusts, many.
Yeah, mate.
PTY LTDs.
Right.
LLC.
And you know what? It's not even about other generations fucking it up. It's also about the government fucking it up, right? So that's what we have to be aware of.
That's the next episode right there.
Yeah, we'll go down I've got a lot to say. Because here's what we know. First generation makes it. Second generation grows it. Third generation blows it. Now, the reason is first generation goes, this is fucked. I'm going to go build some wealth and create a different quality of life. And so they then learn some stuff, they earn some stuff, they grow their wealth, they understand the system, they've got the work ethic, and they go and learn the system and they go and create it, right? And they build some wealth. Second generation has seen first generation do it, right? And so there's a value system that's this direct pass down. There's this value system that gets passed down. It's one of the greatest bits of legacy you can leave is a financial education to your kids in that value system, right? Greatest thing. And then third generation, they're born into a world of money. And so they don't have the same value system around money and what happens. And so they just kind of blow it, right? And this is what happens.
Yeah.
I had this experience. I thought deeply about this. I had this experience in 2017 when the world, I first got in the world of crypto in late 2016, started 2017. And I built a lot of wealth in crypto in a short period of time. And I remember at one point, I woke up, it was about November of 2017, and I woke up at about 1 a.m. and I was distraught, right? I was in tears. I was beside myself. In between this world of conscious and unconscious, I had this realization that if something happened to me right now, my daughter would get none of my crypto wealth. And my daughter would get none of the understanding and the wisdom and the stuff that I've learned over the last 15 years at the time, longer now. And I was beside myself, right? Because legacy to me was always something so important. And so I then spent the next 3 hours writing down my first draft of my legacy plan. And when I talk about a legacy plan, I'm not just talking about, I want to leave some money. That's great, but it's not really serving someone at a deep level. I started going, okay, if something happened to me, what are the things that I want my daughter to know, right? And I've got a baby boy now. I've got a 13-year-old daughter. I've got a 1-year-old son, right? What are the things that I want my daughter to know? Who are the mentors I want her to work with? What are the milestones that she needs to tick off along the way so that I know that she becomes a steward of wealth as opposed to someone who just gets some money, right? And I wrote down this entire wealth plan with milestones, with who she needs to work with what level of capital is coming out at what period of time in her life and for what purpose. And so I mapped out this entire journey, this entire plan to teach her what I know, not just give her some stuff, right? Because when she knows that, she then has the ability to be able to pass it down to her kids if she decides to have a family into the future. So one aspect is I've got to pass down the learning and the understanding and the wisdom, right? That I've learned through doing some cool shit, fucking a lot of things up, right? And then I sit there and go structuring, okay? Well, then we talk about like testamentary trust and all that's quite frankly, that's the easy part, right? And, the onshore stuff, the offshore stuff. And to me, I want to be that dead guy in the grave in 3 generations' time, still controlling my money that people are still complaining about. And that just
Fighting over.
It just makes me fucking happy for some reason. I don't know why. I just want to know that I'm in the grave and people are pissed off that great-great-grandfather Todd Polke is still controlling the money from the grave because I don't want anyone to go screw it up what I'm creating.
Can't get their hands on it.
Yeah, can't get your hands on it, 100%. So, you talk about your bucket list and how you're going to live life. But what about your afterlife bucket list, right? What would you love to be looking down on and go, what have I created now? What is the wealth which outlives me? And that wealth goes far beyond just the amount of money that you put in.
Love that. So your daughter's currently, 13, 14?
13, going on 17, right, which I'm trying to stop.
Yeah, I've got 2 17-year-old twin boys. So I reckon one of them would be open for a date with your daughter. You sound pretty, I'll play matchmaker. They're pretty switched on. Your daughter's pretty switched on.
My daughter's not dating for another number of years, mate. Boys are easy, mate. Like girls, this shit. I need coaching and parenting with growing teenage daughters. Holy shit.
Just that's phenomenal. Really love that. Mate, I know you've got to head off and go help people. We're definitely going to do a round 2. Like I want to talk, here's a question before my last question officially is we've just had a massive, like crypto's at an all-time high, Bitcoin's at an all-time. Will our monetary system be replaced by crypto in your view?
Dude, I've just had the CEO of Blockchain Australia, who has they've rebranded their name. Digital Economy Council of Australia or some bullshit, whatever it's called. I've just had her speak at my event just literally on the weekend. Just talking about programmable money, right? We've literally just been having this conversation. Mate, the answer is yes. The cash as we know it is on the way out. We've seen this. All you have to do is follow the breadcrumbs. Just follow the fucking breadcrumbs in front of us and see where it's leading. Cash is on the way out. The central bank digital currency is already in pilot testing phase. It's happening as we speak right now. It's 100% happening as we speak. This is happening right now in Australia. The proposal, everything's already out. It's already there. Like it's already public. 3 years, central bank digital currency is probably going to be here. And we will be operating from that space, and it scares the living daylights out of me.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it too late to get into crypto?
No, it's not, mate. I think we're going to keep going. I think we just started this next bull run. That's what I think.
Yeah.
But the way I always think about crypto's a roller coaster, right? It's up and down and up and down. It's
that last winter is one hell of a.
I don't know. It's a doozy, wasn't it? But here's the way I always think about it. If you're going into crypto just of the perspective, I'm going to get $100,000 or $150,000 per Bitcoin or whatever it is, you got the wrong psychology, right? When we're thinking about crypto, I always sit there and go, in 5 years' time, do I think the value of a Bitcoin or Solana or Ethereum or whatever else you're investing is going to be higher than what it is right now? And do I believe in the philosophy, and do I believe that's part of my overarching portfolio? And I zoom out and go 5-year period in that. And if the answer is yes, then I don't care if the market's going up or down. I'm just going to keep accumulating, right?
So it isn't buy and hold, because there's no cash flow really coming out.
No, there can be. Yeah. So beautiful thing about crypto is that you could just buy and hold it. So I'm an investor in crypto. I'm not a trader. I don't trade anymore. I don't. It's not my highest.
You like sleeping at night.
I like sleeping. I don't want to do it. It's not I'm a big believer in building wealth based on you, and building wealth based on your genius, and understanding your personality profile and who you are and how to build wealth based on you. I don't want to do that shit. But I have buddies that we know who are epic traders, right?
Yeah, and who are just wired.
And they trade in now the marketplace, and they're wizards, they're geniuses, right?
Mm.
And then you can learn how to do pools and staking in crypto and create cash flow from crypto. So crypto is great because you can play it on many different levels, but it depends on how you want to be involved. Some people just buy some Bitcoin and Ethereum and do 50-50 and just dollar cost average into it. Or I've got a mate who runs a crypto fund it's out-earned Bitcoin 8 out of the last 9 years, the crypto fund. And so you put some money in there and just do it. It does the thing. And I got other people that want to learn how to pool and decentralized pooling and staking and all that type of stuff. And that's fun. It's great. You can earn great cash flow from it. And some people love to trade and cool. So how are you going to do it based on you, based on your bucket list life and your time and your situation and things like that? Build wealth based on you. Don't follow someone else's. Just because someone else has built wealth that way doesn't mean you should, right?
You can get caught up in the property thing. You can get caught up in crypto. You can get caught up in shares, and those asset classes are so individual, aren't they?
Yeah, and each of them, I call it the asset matrix, right? And each of them have their own individual things. There's different timelines, different risk profiles, different purposes there to serve in the portfolio, and they're all just cogs in individual system. And you just got to go, here's the system I want to build, which is the cash flow return, which is going to fund my bucket list life, right? That's what it is. Then we go, okay, well, we know where that needs to go. We know where we're starting point. What's the first cog that we need to add into that system? And then we build the next cog, and we build the next cog, and we build the next cog, and we build the next cog. And then it just starts spitting out cash flow. And we all the machine, we build it out, we add some more networking to it, whatever it is. And we build this overarching system.
Mate, awesome. Love it. Last question. Imagine a stadium full of people and a big raised stage at the front with a big booming microphone. I think you've already done that. What would you love to say, and who do you choose to be in the audience?
Oh, shit, dude. What would I love to say? What I really want to say is not about money, right? I'm not a money guy. I know a lot about money, but I'm not a money guy. It's completely different. To me, I sit there and go, don't let anyone or anything dull the light that you're here to shine. I believe that every single person has an impact they're here to have on the planet, and you're beautiful, incredible, spiritual, incredible, and you have something to give back to the planet in a bigger way. And don't let anyone or anything tell you otherwise.
Oof. It got me.
And the people in the audience, wow. My family would be everything. Jeez, you got me emotional there, man.
It sounds like people that are also stuck, who are maybe on the treadmill of life. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but we come across them all. We're around a lot of personal development. We're around some really cool people, and we're not afraid to ask for help.
Right.
But for the majority who are on the treadmill in the matrix, so to speak, are not around these kind of influences. So, maybe it's this conversation could spark that. Life's not over. Doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter what income level you are, any shit like that. It's really about education, getting around the right people. So, unless you want to add anything to that.
Mate, I would just say that I agree with you. I was trying to be selective. Do I need to be selective in it? But like, really, this is a message that everybody needs to hear. I'm a teacher at heart. That's what I do. And if I can meet people where they're at, which to solve some financial problems, because this is the financial world that we live in, but then it allows them to lift their head above the financial waterline, so they're not just treading water financially, and they can see beyond what they're currently experiencing in life, and seeing like that passion and purpose that they're truly here to be able to live, and then be able to give them the resources and tools to be able to do that. That's my reason for being. That's my thing, right? And so if the more people that can hear this message, the better. There's no doubt about it.
Well, one thing I know I've done, we've known each other for fucking 10 years, but we've never actually met. It's just super weird. We got all the same friends. So it's been so good to finally connect with you and hang out with you, buddy. And I think I've just found my new finance guy. That's for sure. My new investing guy. Fucking hell, you're speaking right at me. Mate, how can people get in contact with you?
Look, the best way is that I run a free Facebook community called the Wealth Dojo, and it's just a community of other investors. And dojo is just because a dojo is a place of learning. That's what it is, right? That's why I call it the Wealth Dojo. It's a place of learning, and it's just a community of other people just like you who want to handle some financial stuff and live a more extraordinary experience of life, and that's what it is. And I give out a lot of free tools and resources and trainings, like weekly trainings on there, lots of webinars and things like that. And that's the most perfect place for people to come and start your first step on your journey.
Is that it there, the Wealth Dojo?
Mate, I told you I live in that's it, mate. I live in a rainforest and some of my internet's dodgy.
But
that's it, buddy. Yeah.
Just joined. Done. Love it. Excellent. Looking to start grow. All right, free go. Yep, send. All right. So I'm just joining now. So we've got the Facebook community. What's your website again?
Just toddpolke.com. I've just improved you, buddy. You're in.
Okay, sweet.
So toddpolke.com is the place for people to be able to find me. And we obviously on YouTube or on Instagram, all the things, we're putting a lot more stuff on YouTube and free trainings and stuff on YouTube. But yeah, toddpolke.com. Come find me there. Come join the Wealth Dojo group. Love to meet everybody and, support you on your journey.
Todd, excellent. Stoked we did this. Stoked that you found time, buddy. And to our bucket listers, there you go. Another nugget. Massive. Pay this lesson forward to whether it be your kids, the people around you, your circle of influence. So much gold in there. We're definitely going to do round 2. We talk about bucket lists all the freaking time, but what we don't talk about is reverse engineering it. Like, how do we actually make it happen? How do we create the time? How do we create the cash to be able to do it? So, mate, this has been super valuable to me personally, and I know it will be to our bucket list community around the world. So, mate, until next time, guys, bucket listers, thank you so much for tuning in to the Bucket List Life podcast. You know what to do. Give it a review, give it a share, give it a freaking love heart, give it a like, give it a, more importantly, implement. Connect with Todd. Let's go. Until next time. Bye for now.
Thanks so much for listening to the Bucket List Life podcast with the world's #1 bucket list expert, Trav Bell. For more great content, go to www.thebucketlistguy.com. We'll see you next time.